just like Slayer. You can go down the line, Metallica, like they didn't always have it. No one came out of the womb back then fucking straight up street cred metal. Or
you tried to get me to meditate with you.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 2 of Beyond the Metalverse podcast. There is your host.
Hi, Paul Bostaph, and this is...
I am Kenji Tsunami. All right, guys, we have a great episode for you guys today. We have Forbidden, and we also are continuing the talk with Rob Barrett from Cannibal Corpse. Now, we are also live on Spotify and Apple Music because you guys were asking for it, but we really want you guys to watch it on YouTube. And the reason why is we add footnotes and context because we kind of name drop names and kind of go with it without really explaining it. We'll name drop like Debbie Abono and Monty Connor, and because Debbie Abono is...
She's a legendary manager from the Bay Area who was a part of a lot of early bands from the 90s era. Took on a lot of those bands and helped them get them off the ground, and Cynic included.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because I saw her picture and she seems like a sweet lady, but then you realize, man, she managed Possessed.
Yeah.
And Forbidden. I mean, and then Monty Connor, who is...
Monty's, just a heavyweight legend in the business who I think got his start at Roadrunner and signed all those bands, from the early Roadrunner era.
So we just kind of name drop these names and just continue our conversation without really explaining who these people are. The new generation may not be that familiar. So yeah, we recommend you watch the YouTube version because we'll add footnotes on the screen. All right, so up next we have Forbidden, and not only just Forbidden, but the newly formed Forbidden, which features Craig Locicero and Chris Kontos. And Chris Kontos was also part of that great Bay Area metal band Machine Head as well too. So you got a great legendary heavy hitters tonight.
Amongst other bands.
Attitude Adjustment, yeah, exactly, yeah. If I just went on, the list will be too big. He's like, it's like he's like every drummer, It's like every drummer's in every single band.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that thing. So
pretty much.
Yeah. All right, here we are, episode 2.
Hi, I'm Craig Locicero, and I play in Forbidden.
Chris Kontos, play drums for Forbidden.
Oh yeah, I play guitar.
Yeah, you do.
Kinda. Metal scene. So I was in the suburbs with me and Robb Flynn, grew up together in Fremont. So
right.
we'd hike our asses into Berkeley or San Francisco to see shows like that. But we were the kids just kind of like, wow,
Yeah.
He wasn't as cool as he was, and I definitely wasn't as cool as I think I am now,
Nobody was.
Yeah, so, we were just all geeks that were just geeking on metal.
So, because you ended up with Rob.
Yeah, much later, but yeah.
But you met Rob separate of Craig kind of thing?
Yeah. I knew Rob of, his Vio-lence days and stuff, and Forbidden Evil was, just curving at that point as he was merging. So I knew him from that. And he was a big fan of Attitude Adjustment and Vio-lence and Attitude Adjustment and Death Angel. That was the thing, right? The crossover thing was happening here pretty much first. We weren't
so cool.
I think something hit us all. We're like, pretty pivotal was like the Discharge, Motorhead, GBH, Exodus. We all were going to those shows, and there was a glimmer of tension for a minute with Mohawks versus long hairs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we were all like, haircuts? Really? You know what I mean?
I know.
This is going to be the hinge,
Yeah.
And so it just got squashed, and I remember GBH played on a Friday night, might have the days mixed up, but a Friday night at the Broadway, and then Motorhead was the next night at the Stone, and everybody stayed in that area,
just
overnight.
For the 2 gigs.
Yeah,
wow. So you saw it merging in that.
Yeah,
way,
and
man.
it was just this thing, which
Literally
everybody
in
went
the
to both
stairways.
shows. You know what
They
I
were
mean?
staying in the stairways.
Yeah,
And
people
was
just
there
hang out in the
when
city.
you said the tension? Because I remember this as well, and I remember a tour Cro-Mags and Destruction on the package.
Right.
And those shows, I mean, I went to one of them, was not cool. Like, people were fighting and fucking the skinheads against the long hairs. And was that, none of that was happening here?
It really
People kept
wasn't.
it cool?
I think the only thing was if, you know, because we had like embedded skinheads here in San Francisco, but they weren't Nazis. They weren't that ilk.
They were like more chill NorCal.
They were more like bikers or the Baldies from the Wanderers, or kind of that kind of vibe, right? They were just scary big dudes.
But there were some.
But then what happened was like Sacramento, Modesto, San Jose, like the suburbs kind of started to bleed in these kind of Nazi skinheads, and that's we were all against that. Metal and punk. It was not fucking cool having 10 guys show up and control a 700-person show.
And that would happen.
Some of them, for a minute, until bands like Attitude Adjustment would just come off stage and just start beating the fuck out of people. Wow. You know?
You guys were like, calling that shit out.
Oh, yeah, big time. And then, you know, the more and more we got closer to like Poison Idea and stuff, you know, we had allies in that where it's like, we're not going to take that, you know? Fucking that arm goes up, it's coming down broken. You know? It's just the way it was. And that kind of, you know, there was a lot of bonding factors to the scene. You know, you had champions in the scene like Paul Bailoff, and if it's heavy, it's heavy. You know,
love Paul.
Yeah, you
Paul
know,
took me under his wing. Like he did. He took a lot of people under his wing. A lot of people of color in our Bay Area scene. Like the first time I went to Ruthie's, and I was like, oh yeah, like everybody. It wasn't a bunch of just white kids.
It was all over the place.
And Wes Anderson was African American to begin with. Oh, sorry, Wes Robinson. Wes Anderson's not African American. Wes Robinson. You know, I'm not the only one who's done that.
Right.
It's like hundreds of us have done that.
Yeah. Well, the Ruthie's moment, right? Ruthie's is a blues club, right? Then kind of went into disco. Wes was like, let's have some metal bands in here on Phil Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You know? And we had across the street was Big O Tires, which was like the parking lot.
Big O.
And that was like our internet, you know? That's where tape trading and stuff, that's where it was really, you know, happening, you know, where you walk up to a car, the doors are open, and you're hearing, what's this? Like, it's Voivod. And you're like, it drove you straight to the record store.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing, the difference I feel in like streaming. So it'd be Celtic Frost into Voivod, into Slayer, into, you know, whatever. And it drove you to the record store.
Into Nasty Savage.
Into whatever, right? Because anybody's choice was making the tapes.
I was making them big time. That's how I met Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then we were lucky enough to have these great record stores, you know, the Record Exchange in Walnut Creek, the Record Vault, you know, and then as Rasputin's caught on, you know, more with the imports and stuff. But, you know, that was the drive. It was like, hear a song, buy the record. You had to have it.
People don't accidentally discover music anymore, I feel like, because people could just choose what they want to listen to.
Oh, for sure. I'm really worried.
Their algorithm now.
I'm really worried.
Decided.
There was a culling of the herd that needed to happen during fucking the 90s. If you died, you died. Like, that's okay. You know, and not everything is special. And, you know, I've caught heat, you know, there's some people who said, oh, gatekeeper or whatever, but I'm not. But, like, when people say, like, what do you think about all the bands in the Bay Area right now? And I said, well, if you could take 60% of them and sink them on a barge, because there's clutter. And I go back to fucking Cliff Burton's quote, you know, where he said, you know, he was asked, well, do you have any words of advice for up-and-coming bands? And he said, quit. You know, that's kind of an onion. And too many people could possibly be doing it. And it may be too accessible in a way. And that breeds, not every show is special, you know? And these younger kids ask me, why was it so big, you know? Back then. How come you guys were playing to 300, 600, 700, 500, 100 cap room was definitely 115 people in there. Like, why was it like that? And you got to go back to the brass tacks, is that there wasn't 8,000 fucking bands.
Yeah. And there wasn't anything else to do.
When I was promoting shows recently.
Nothing else to do.
Right.
What, do you go to the fucking mall and play video games?
And what they don't understand.
That's true. Yeah, we play video games. I know.
You know, I want to segue into something because, you know, you mentioned meeting Chuck through tape trading, and we're talking about Ruthie's. The first time I met Chuck was at Ruthie's when he was out here, you know, searching for a band.
No shit.
Looking around, and we just hung out all night. And
like when he had Chris already or something, or pre-Chris, right?
Yeah, Eric Brecht. Eric Brecht from DRI.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
So
was this Antioch?
I don't know where Chuck was living.
Yeah, that's the yes.
That's that area, but I don't know. We didn't know each other from shit, but we got along great that night, and I didn't see him years later until we were label mates with Combat.
Yeah,
and we did the Ultimate Revenge, and then we go to the hotel the night of Ultimate Revenge, and this is a great setup because Debbie Abano is like telling us, "All right, I don't want you guys partying, doing anything to embarrass yourself in front of the label. I don't want you drinking. I don't want you, you know." So I'm like, "Oh Jesus,
Mama,
like, are we gonna have any fun?" So knock on the door. It's me knocking. Chuck opens the door. I'm all, "Dude." He's like, "Dude, we're all, dude." And we just hug. We're like, "Yeah, dude, we're doing it." You know, we're doing it. We're in Ultimate Revenge dos. And then I'm like, I look over to my left, and who's at the window? All the guys in Dark Angel. "What are you guys doing?" "Dropping piss bombs." So I'm like, I look at Debbie. I'm all, "Really?" Well, it's like, we can't. Come on, like, and then the label's like, "You guys need to get in on some shit. Let's break the room apart. Let's do something." Because remember, what was his name? Scott Gibbons and Megadon were both in the room. Like, "You guys got to cut loose." And I'm like, "She's not gonna fucking have it, you know. Like, we'll be in trouble." So that was my first meeting with him after that. But he was like a part of it. He saw it. He saw what the old scene was all about.
Yeah.
And he took that shit with him to Florida.
Yeah,
Back
he
to
was
Florida.
trying to find musicians that were connected to this movement, you know?
Yeah.
And it was happening out here in a big way. I mean, this is the birth of it, essentially, right?
You played with Chuck, right? Or for Death for a moment?
Yeah, he toured for Individual, right?
I did the individual Thought Patterns tour with zero days of learning any songs before I walked in the room. I learned every song. Chuck said, "Don't worry about it, dude. We'll smoke some bud, drink some coffee. I'll show you the riff." And here's what I learned in that moment. I was making a Forbidden demo until the day before they showed up. And I walked in the room fucking nervous as fuck, but going, I think I could play those songs. They sound pretty crazy. And then he showed me the riffs. I was like, they're way easier to do than Forbidden riffs. And then he's like, just do that 4 times. I'm like,
I know.
Oh!
And then repeat that thing.
I unlocked it the first day. I was
it's like basic. Yeah,
but
it's really basic
it's
music.
Brilliant.
Not
it
the
sounds
drumming.
so incredible.
Yeah,
it's so incredibly complex.
But the riffs are really
He
straightforward.
worked in the box, and it was beautiful. And he is a brilliance to what he did that I was in love with. And then, you know, he asked me on the tour if I would stick around and maybe write a record.
I was going to say.
He did. It was the fastest the band had ever played.
You were loyal
live.
to Forbidden, is that what
I was
it was?
very loyal. But we played faster than Death ever played, and Gene will tell you. So we pushed it, man, because they said the first, you know, right hand that's fucking challenging them. So we just got to some hyper speed levels. And there's some great footage of us in Milan.
Yeah, that footage.
That's
I wanna
the best
see it.
show. Florence, Italy.
Yeah.
Florence.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's like, Bradford. I'm like,
great
that was
show.
the first day of the tour.
And
That
it was
sucked.
Steve and Gene?
Steve and Gene.
Cool.
And Steve was so sarcastic and so fucking, you're welcome, but not really, you know, like just that whole Stevie D vibe, and it was amazing. And that's how Gene and I became brothers. You know, we've been brothers ever since.
How cool.
Yeah, we have become he's like an uncle to my son, and he is an uncle to my son. Yeah. We were talking about, like, you know, clusterfuckery of LA and clusterfuck. Like, I just think the Bay Area had a way more of a grip on it, and we were way more communal. There's competition bred for great fucking bands, but there was a lot of competition.
Right.
Like, don't fool yourself into thinking we were all singing Kumbaya.
Right.
There was a lot of fucking shit.
But healthy competition in the way
I
that
totally feel
it's like everyone's pushing each other to get better and shit, right?
Competition's
like
healthy in the first place.
Yeah.
The greatness of that whole documentary, Murder in the Front Row, is that it clearly defines that even in LA, even in New York, or anywhere else in the United States, there were lines that were not connecting somehow. There were bands playing thrash doing that, but there was some interference and static in the way of maybe glam rock, or, you know, LA had its thing.
Right.
You know, what are you? More of a judgmental thing.
Yeah.
And you could really cut your bones in the Bay Area. If you needed to get better, you needed to go woodshed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bay Area would definitely tell you that.
Yeah.
You know the story about Slayer, right?
No, I mean, which one?
They played the Keystone Berkeley, and had their eyeliner on, you know, and all the leather and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody was like, cool, but hey, tomorrow night you're playing Ruthie's Inn, and that shit's not gonna fucking fly. You know, the Bay Area told Slayer,
kind of
you don't fucking need that.
Wow.
You know, and it was, you know.
That's amazing.
And as Ariah said, I just wore my leather pants from then on. It was t-shirts off the bus, you know, on stage.
Because I was thinking Metallica moved to the Bay, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Cliff, yeah.
But it makes me think also maybe they were feeling some of that and felt there was a better opportunity for them here. You know?
Yeah. It's just like you said. It's more open and communal and just a little bit more. I don't know. There was some. You don't know what's happening when it's happening.
Yeah.
When you're 17.
Yeah,
18
you don't.
years old, right?
You don't. You're just in
But
it.
in hindsight, you look back and you realize, like, yeah, this was a real proving ground. You know, that's why Anthrax and all those bands and Murder in the Front Row say, yeah, until we got to Ruthie's, the Stone, the Keystone, you know, these places, we felt like if we could make it out of there, not covered in spit.
Well, Anthrax didn't escape that, because I remember the first time they came here and played with Raven, they got fucking pelted.
Yeah.
Were they because Anthrax was too goofy at the time? Because I know that metal back then was kind of more serious, and I know Anthrax was more comic book-ish.
If people don't know, it was specifically what's the old singer's name?
Neil Tobin.
Neil Turbin.
Turbin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't jive with the crowd. It was too, you know, it just had too much self-conscious movement, and they were all wearing like leather jackets, and they weren't, and they had their hair was kind
the perms with the bangs, you know. It was
they were New York fucking, you know, like Long Island metal, heavy metal kids.
A little preppy.
Yeah, you know. So whatever. I mean, but yeah, they got fucking. I mean, they just were. You hear about people getting spit on out of respect. It was the opposite. That was Raven. Raven was great that night. You know, and you know, it was Fistful of Metal days. So it was like really young version of the band, and you know, just like Slayer, you can go down the line. Metallica, like they didn't always have it. No one came out of the womb back then, fucking straight up street cred metal or punk. Everyone had to learn some things along the way. Yeah, and when you know, really walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yeah,
and not just
to keep it real.
Thing.
Yeah. So like the audience was really kind of reading the bands. And
we had people in our scene that would go up and fucking turn your amp off.
Like if they weren't vibing you, like
it's just if you sucked. I mean, I love that. You know, that was the thing.
Damn.
You know, like these days I go to shows and a band is fucking sucking. Obviously, they suck. They're not ready to be out of the garage yet. They need a woodshed. They need to get their shit, their look, their whole vibe down. Yeah. And they'll finish the song and everyone will clap.
Golf clap.
And that's sending the wrong data.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so back in the day,
they're just being polite.
It was like we turn our backs on bands.
It's like, get your shit together.
Yeah,
you're not ready.
You're done.
Wow, that's really cool.
And then it put the ball firmly in that band's court, right? To either go home, curl up in a fetal position, or woodshed the fuck out of your band, come back, be better, and you get the salute, you know?
Participation trophies versus real fucking awards.
Dude. There's no 10th place.
Everyone's gotten too sensitive about that shit. It's just it's a shame.
I mean, I've seen it. Like
too sensitive about everything.
Everything.
This is just our genre.
Combination clap.
Right.
And then whisper to your friend, these guys suck. That's just not.
That ain't cool.
That's not
worse.
sending the right message. It's worse.
It sends the wrong message. They keep doing it without knowing what's going on.
Exactly. And you got to remember too, the paradigm for most of the metal bands was the Nwamba thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you still have like the maybe the white blouse and red spandex and you know Explorer coming out of UFO or you know even Iron Maiden, right? Like so this look thing is still in the paradigm approach, right? Mm-hmm. Somehow it just had to shed itself. A lot of these young bands don't understand is that the Ruthie's moment was Monday through Thursday. Those shows were all Friday and Saturday night gigs.
Yeah,
we all cut our bones through the week.
Yeah,
the big bands were on Friday and Saturday.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you know these bands, none of them will play on a Monday, you know, or Tuesday. You know, they won't take that gig, but that's what it should be.
That's what it should be always.
You know, and so there's a clutter effect sometimes, you know? And,
there's an authenticity you guys had where you guys didn't like a band, like you said earlier, you would tell me they suck.
Right, because we're here on a fucking Thursday, or we're here on a Wednesday, and so I didn't got time to fucking
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Yeah, it's like we're trying to weed out the noise.
Yeah, and I don't want to bash bands that are coming up. Everybody should have their fucking chance and their shot, right? But like, hone your craft. Don't come out of the garage until you're ready, really ready.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that's a thing that I tell young bands, like, you know, why aren't we making it? Why aren't we, you know? Well, you got good songs, but you're not bringing anything to the stage. You can't lose sight of the fact that it's the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And like when people say, oh, the clean look, right, was happening for a while from the bus to the stage.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget that Metallica from the bus to the stage kind of looked fucking kind of cool already.
Yeah.
You're wearing maroon sweats with your cell phone in your front pocket.
Dude, what's up with all the phones in pockets?
All right, or your bass player's wearing your bass player's.
That's the thing.
Your bass player's in
even
Crocs.
my buddy Bill.
You know,
he'll wear that big phone in his front pocket. They go, well, oh, that's a gigantic phone in your pocket. You're not just happy to see me.
But there's something lost in the value of your ticket money. It's supposed to be on stage, and people want to be taken somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And,
it's like. Yeah, to have that experience, like to transport the audience.
Exactly.
For
it's
sure,
more than just good songs or good skills.
Oh yeah, there's
You
so
know?
much of it is just the energy.
Yeah.
You said you reminded me of the Ruthies on the weekdays. It's true, and I think we played the day before. My first gig at Ruthies was with Metal Church with Forbidden Evil, and we played the day before they played that New Year's Eve show. Right, and there was fucking like 30 people there watching Metal Church, all standing against the wall, not into it because he had bleach blonde hair. David Wayne, you know, wasn't who everybody learned he was later. He was that dude from that band from Seattle and then they ended up playing the Metallica show the next night. But I'm trying to think, did you go to that Metallica show?
No, we played.
Oh, okay, you played.
We played with the Mentors in DRI that night.
Because it was if you've ever seen the Eastern Front record. It was the Eastern Front album where Wes Robinson had gotten all the bands to agree to be recorded or didn't tell them, in our case. And then we were all part of this record. And yeah, so like we were on there, Hex, fucking, you know, all the punk rock bands that were worth the shit were on there.
Yeah. Was that crossover era? Like,
oh yeah. That was the fucking really the beginning of like everyone's playing together at the same show era. That was like really cool. Like that was when punk rock and metal started really really kicked off was that first Eastern Front, which had the punk rock and hardcore first day and then the metal day.
Oh, okay.
Right, and so everybody was up here from LA with all those punk bands.
Where was that at?
In Berkeley at the Aquatic Park.
Oh. And that was called
it was Eastern Front.
Yeah, but they call it something. It has another name. Eastern Front's what we called it and what they call it, but it has some name in historical. I can't remember what they called it. Like, it wasn't Thrash on the Grass, but it was something to that effect.
Yeah, but it was a thing where
it was big. It was Slayer played first time. Well, not the first
Suicidal,
time.
Circle One, Black Flag.
Wow. Slayer looked super cool in blue jeans and fucking. They had a different thing going on for that show.
They stripped it down.
They really stripped it down for that one. I think Carrie still wore some bands, like some nail bands or whatever, but the rest of them were all.
The nails can stay.
Yeah,
those were sick.
Carrie's still long ass nails. He'll still fucking rock the chains. You know? Yeah. He's a rebel in that way.
You know, it gets me thinking too is with you guys with this scene up here being so open, right? With also the crossover stuff happening, right. It was like there was parameters, like you had to kind of, but it was really about authenticity.
Right. It was. If it was like, contrived, it was contrived.
Yeah.
Perfect example was like Running Wild, Voivod, Celtic Frost. Right? Running Wild came out. They were basically in yellow and black. Schematics,
Striper-ish,
right? Striper-ish.
They were German, right?
Yeah,
pirate metal,
right? And super contrived. It was super contrived. Now the next band, Voivod, you know, they've got like harnesses and shit and spikes and.
That's right.
But it was so fucking real, right? Like, who made those guitars for one? Like, the aggressive cut guitars, and that's custom, and that's just real, right? And even into Celtic Frost that night. You know, you got Martin Ains up there. It looks like fucking a goth Dracula vibe.
That's true.
But it was so fucking
made it their
real.
Own.
You could get it over the thing, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't authenticity was the call. Like if it was real, it was fine.
The Bay Area sniffed that shit out. I think maybe that's where we were the leaders of the pack. It was great until it wasn't, and then it really wasn't great. Around 90 things just really started to like become super contrived, and all the bands dressed the same, parted their hair the same, wore the same fucking Reeboks. Like, you know, everybody went for the same fucking look. Everybody wanted to be Metallica. Everybody wanted. So it went from being fucking amazing to like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And no one could, and only the survivors, only the ones that, you know, you put Forbidden in the second wave of it with that group, but then you get beyond that second wave and it really is bleak. You know, it's not their fault. They just came late.
Yeah,
They didn't arrive at the party
all
in time.
the things. Yeah,
you know, we're a part of that second wave.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, like I said, I was halfway on the elevator in the first, but yeah. So you know, to have gone through all that shit and see it rise and fall, but I was one of the first ones to voice my displeasure with everybody being the same. I guys, oh, this is fucking getting lame.
Speaking of that, Forbidden made that change as well too around that era, right? With Distortion and Green. Was that a pivot or was that adaptation, or what was the idea behind that?
Well, I mean, okay, there's a lot that happened. There's so much that happened with Forbidden, to the point that, you know, there's even a story where we almost got signed by Rick Rubin, but Debbie turned us down without us knowing. A year later, we found out that he wanted to sign us before we did Twisted into Form, because we were about to get signed to RCA, and we were doing our most progressive, most fucking. It was like probably the best musicianship that Forbidden had up to that point, and we were really nailing our own little thing. But it was maybe leaning a little toward Queensryche because Tim Calvert was there, and he was really into that kind of dramatic stuff, and it just bled right into us. And we're like, we're going to be a major label band. And then Paul gets the offer to join Slayer right when we're about to sign it. And then we get the new drummer, who is Steve Jacobs, who's phenomenal. Phenomenal. If you're familiar with Steve, he was as good, maybe better in certain ways than Paul. But people are like, well, Paul's a Slayer. You know, so they didn't have that. So, you know, where I'm going with this is everything was going our way, and we were about to sign a deal with RCA that was, it would have been semi-life-changing at that point.
Yeah.
And then fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit broke. Right when Paul left, everyone pivoted. The labels pivoted. Everyone was looking to follow the new fucking pebble rolling down the street.
Damn.
So whatever happened with us was done internally without anyone looking at us, really. The scene had fucking changed.
Yeah.
And we just started writing our own shit. I got a big bag full of microdot acid, and I started writing a lot of music on this microdot acid, which turned into a lot of shit that was on Distortion. And I was
going to say, Distortions has a psychedelic thing going on.
It is a psychedelic album.
Yeah, I hear that.
In a big time way. But it was also being influenced by, you know, great new music like Alice in Chains and stuff. We weren't a grunge band by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But things were happening. Yeah. And I've always been a radio antenna. You know, I'm just an antenna to whatever's going on.
I felt it was like I could hear that now that you say it, but it was more Sabbath psychedelic to me than grunge, right? Or whatever.
It just led us down a path of being fearless and trying shit. Yeah. So we did so, and then we got a deal, and you know, and the reaction to the Distortion was really, really good in Europe, and really not much here.
I mean, bands get put in boxes, right? It's like you have to outlive your first record somehow, if people latch onto that, and then it's like...
That's part of the game.
Yeah.
And it's okay. And I'm going to give Mastodon their flowers. Like, they still were writing long-ass songs, and double albums, and fucking deep tracks, and progressive, and beautiful, and organic.
Yeah, Blood Incantation, and Gojira.
They did a great job with that album.
There are bands out there that are definitely...
keeping it raw.
Made us feel like, you know, it is fucking okay. You know what I mean? It's like, go.
Yeah, instead of chasing the tail of this... what could be really a bubble in a way. The trends, you know, it takes a lot of courage to trust your instincts and go and, you know what I mean? Especially.
Speaking of trusting instincts, there's you. And you've been doing this since I was ever aware of you. Yeah, fly the other direction, man. Go against the current. And it's way more respectable. And if you can live this long, which we're lucky enough to have done, there might be some rewards at the end of that. At least you get the musical reward, but you might get something back in ways that, you know, people are thankful for, dude. You know, I mean? Like thank you for being different. Fuck, it's all so much the same now.
Man, and I'll tell you, like, you know, coming back to the Bay, Berkeley was the best show of that whole first tour with Cannibal, where we didn't get bottles thrown at us and screamed at and booed. It was like, there was a couple other moments.
People don't know their history.
But it made sense when you were saying, because I was like, that show goes down in the books as like this incredible moment, because in a tour that was pretty rough for us.
Sure.
We were tight with the Cannibal guys, and it was fun to share a bus with them, but the shows were...
To a certain degree, Forbidden was there with you. Like, we didn't really fit into anybody's neat little category.
Yeah.
People look at us as
Right.
a Bay Area thrash, but to this day, what are we? Like,
Yeah.
we're way more than that.
Just by its nature with the vocals, you know.
Yeah.
Would you say that you weren't initially receptive to Russ's singing in the beginning?
Not his singing.
Not singing.
No, his singing was the first time I met Russ. It's like I went. Rob called me and said, I have a new band. I'm gonna come pick you up and take you to practice. So I went and watched them play in a garage, and Russ comes walking in. He had white hair because he just came from L.A. Right?
Oh, he bleached it.
He was bleached
Okay.
white hair, and I'm like, who's this big dude? Like, he's fucking gigantic. No, they went, and I think they opened up with Hellbent for Leather, Am I Evil, Violence and Force, like all this shit. And I was just like, and in my head in that moment, I'm like, I need to be in this band, and whatever it takes, I'm going to be in this band. So Rob and all the guys left to go go get cigarettes and beer, and Russ stayed behind. I said, hey, you mind if I play guitar? So I sat down and we played Balls to the Wall, and he sang the whole thing. He just looked at me, he's all, I'm going to tell Rob you should be in this band. I'm like, you do that.
So
We'll move into my garage, so
You
that's what we
covertly
did. So,
put yourself in there.
I mean, talent like him, dude. I mean, no one had more gears and switchblade weapons than Russ. Like, he had more shit that he could do than any other singer I've worked with some great singers. But with that comes with a fall that he also wasn't fully into the work. He wasn't into, like, it was a drag for him.
Mm-hmm.
The things were hard because he was the big red-haired guy, and he could have kicked anyone's ass.
Yeah.
But he was nice. So the business was tough on him.
Yeah.
If people were tough on him, he'd take it to heart. And over the years, it just started to chip away at him, and then he's like, I'm done. And he's fully endorsed, like, Norman being in the band.
Norman's like
Right.
my draft pick, right?
Yeah.
I've been seeing him in smaller clubs from Imagica on, his solo bands and his other bands.
And
were you
that's-
the one that tricked him into doing that audition for?
Well, it really wasn't an audition. We were doing
Yeah, you were doing
the
that-
Bay
yeah,
Area
exactly.
Interthrashional thing.
Just wanted to explain kind of what that was.
Yeah, so the Bay Area Interthrashional, which is like an all-star band homage to the birth of thrash.
But no one can play their own song.
Yeah, that was the caveat. Like, so if you're a member of Vio-lence or whatever, you're playing a Forbidden song. If you're in Forbidden, you're playing a Death Angel song. So we mixed it all up that way.
Interesting, okay.
Right? So in the rehearsals,
You'll be a part of the next one.
we're
whether you
trying
know
to
it or
do
not.
all of these songs without a vocalist. And it was kind of hard because all those songs were driven by the vocals,
Yeah.
and so we're all mouthing the vocals at each other. And I just said, fuck, we need a singer. So I was like, we should get Norman Skinner in here. He'll kill it. So he's like, oh yeah, Norman, and then he actually told me, oh yeah, Russ used to call Norman
Little Russ.
Little Russ
Yeah.
when he'd see him in the crowd. Right? Because they have this mouth shape, there's a timbre to the voice, there's a thing there, right?
Yeah.
That's why it works.
Wow.
But in the back of my mind, I was like, if Norman comes in and fucking kills this, I'm going to even nudge harder for Craig to get the band back together, because the core band is basically the last lineup of Forbidden. It's Hernandez, it's Smythe, it's Matt, it's Craig.
We were in the room together.
Hernandez
Yeah.
is original.
No,
Right, or
no,
no,
Bostaph's original. Hernandez played on Omega Wave.
So with that caveat of you can't play your own songs,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, shit, the Forbidden song's not going to happen, and this dude is killing it right now. So I said, oh shit, okay. Hey guys, if somebody's not going to be there, or somebody flakes or doesn't want to play the Forbidden song, one of you guys might have to jump in. So you might want to run through Off the Edge just in case. And Craig was like, yeah, we should, So they did it, and Norman sang Off the Edge, and it was like,
He just
What
had
the
it. He just knew what to do. Fucking.
Okay, he described that perfectly, because that's kind of how it all went down. And then I'm just sitting there thinking, the last thing I want to do is fucking play my own song, because it breaks the rules. But we better, just in case some motherfucker doesn't show up. I'm
right,
like,
because we're all
"Well,
meeting
well,
everybody at festivals, right,
Yeah.
to get this, it's,
Yeah, all our singers
it's a
were-
core band.
Europe
Yeah.
or whatever.
But people are on tour at this Dynamo Festival thing,
Right.
right?
But we're just sitting there. It's that lineup. I haven't played that song since the Omega Wave touring. Not even touched it. Haven't thought about it. It's just under the hands. But we start it, and at first he walks out of the room. Harold O's there too. the great Harold O. So they walk out of the room.
Because I'm like, I'm just going to let this happen. I didn't even stay in there. I just,
they walk out.
I'm in the hall.
But you planted the seed.
But as soon as we started, and but here's Norm's reaction to it. He's yeah, okay. I thought somebody might ask for that, so he's all playing cool. But this is where he was nervous. Inside, he was like, he explains it like, I better fucking nail this just in case, And but he sang it, dude, and he didn't sound like Russ. He sounded like himself singing a Forbidden song, which for me was what made me go, oh. And then the door opens, and Chris is like this, so he creeps in, and then you got Harold like above him, like with Harold's wild hair and the hat, and then Chris, and he's like, ooh, he closes the door.
Oh, funny.
I'm like, I see it. But even then, this is the way the story goes. I still was like, no, that's cool, man. That's nice to know that he could do that, but no. And then we did the Bay Area Inner Thrash. My idea was to have him do Chalice with Warbringer playing backup band. So they showed up to our rehearsal at SIR right over here, and they set up. They start, I'm all like, all right, it's your turn. Guys, go. And as soon as he started and he fucking did the first scream, everyone in the room just looked at me like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Fast forward, it was amazing. And then fast forward to the next night when on stage, I broke my own rule and I stood on the side of the stage and I sang backgrounds with them as they were doing it because I was so caught up in the moment, and everybody's fucking looking at me like.
As soon as the song ended, dude, the whole audience was like. Wow. Literally, dude, it was a highlight right there.
Yeah. It was a highlight.
You felt
we had
the connection.
Highlights.
Like
there were so many great things that night. A couple train wrecks and like amazing sets of stuff and really like pivotal. Great, but that was like the high point of the night where everybody's like.
And it happened in real time.
In real time.
And then
in front
fast forward to him downstairs.
Yeah, I pull a full-on dick move. I go downstairs. Everybody's down there. All the band members and people were just all shaking the show off. And I walk in. I see Norman sitting on the couch and Craig standing up talking to somebody. And I walk in. I go, Craig, if you don't get Norman Skinner Forbidden, you're a fucking maniac. And everybody was like, oh, fucking shots fired, right? And he's like, I know. It was not lost on me. That was fucking incredible.
Did you internally know at that point?
No. Oh, no. I addressed that going, which was really important to me because it was like off the beaten track, and I was passionate about that band. But within that band, it just wasn't going to work. The next day, I got an email from Alcatraz Festival, and my buddy who helps organize it, asking if Forbidden would play, possibly with another singer because Russ is retired. And if you do it with that, maybe you can ask Chris Kontos to play drums since you guys already play in the Boneless ones. So I pushed my chair back, and I've told this story so many times in my office, and I just said, that's the universe speaking to me.
It was based on the YouTube videos that went up from the Bay Area Inner Thrash.
Then my next call was to this guy, because I'm like, I'm going to do this now, and you've been pushing me. Do we want to do this together?
And I'm like, we what? He's like, you play drums. I was like,
But anyway, he said yes, and you should let him take it from there. So,
well, in saying yes, it's just playing like Bostaph, right? Like the intrinsically tripped out drumming, like lefty on a right-handed
awkwardly
kid,
bombastic,
leads with his left foot, leads with his left hand, like Lombardo, right?
Wow.
So what's going on here? That I'm down, he's up, drumming, like it's just everything, and then the syncopation, right? Like the drum fills are the guitar parts. The guitar parts are the drum fills. Like I'm a little bit more Keith Moon, John Bonham with just. The song is the song. I can kind of just move where I want with fills and do whatever. And this is so kind of regimented and locked in such a cool way. And then like Steve is an insanely fucking great drummer. So I was like kind of intimidated. Like, does my skill set even go there?
Yeah.
Gene Hoglan came in before him and played with us our first shows back in 2008 were with Gene.
And we went and saw Dark Angel at the Great American Music Hall, and Gene comes out, love him to death. He's like, alrighty, how's it going? And I'm like, what, bro? And I'm like, it's just fuck, dude. I'm kind of struggling with getting all this stuff going. He goes, oh, you're not playing all that Paul Bostaph shit, are you? I didn't. And and I'm like, my shoulders were in my ears for 2 weeks, dude, and I was all,
Wow.
and the power of Gene Hoglan just telling me, oh, no one can do that. And he starts like dissecting Paul's style to me and like, oh, you can't do that. No one can.
Yeah.
Like, he starts fills on 29, not 32, and does all kinds of weird pre-moves. And no. The next rehearsals, I was just like, oh.
To be fair, I was always telling
You got to be yourself.
He needed to hear that from me. He needed to hear that not from me.
Fucking cool.
Sometimes when I'm talking, no one hears what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's like your mom telling you something,
also like
and then your Uncle Steve tells you,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay. And your mom's like,
Steve got me high.
Yeah.
He's cool.
You know,
No, but
I can
also
tell you that
another
forever.
drummer. You know, they're speaking at their own language
Yes,
too.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it relaxed me. It set me into the mode.
How
and it just,
cool,
Yeah,
man.
It was a real pivotal
Thank
moment.
you, Gene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And I tell that story
Fucking
out of
love
my
him.
heart, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Paul was phenomenal, and no one can take away his creativity.
No.
But in the studio, he would improv a lot, and then it would be like, well, you know, we go to practice. Are you gonna play it like that? He's like, I don't know exactly what I did. Well, but you hear that,
So he,
right?
like, changed,
You're like, you can
like,
hear what
roles
you
and-
did, right?
I do that too. The Machine Head record was never played the same way it was recorded.
When we talked about testing our friendship, I just knew that was eventually going to happen. But I also knew it was going to come with a lot of fucking trepidation.
Why
Don't
is
fucking
that?
look at me. It's like, quit
look
looking at
of
me like you're
disgust.
disappointed. I'm like, I'm not. This is my face now. It's just like I've got resting disappointment face. You know, like I can't help it, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got through a lot.
Yeah.
It's become a great relationship through it. Like better than we were, because we played in Spiral Arms together, which was a rock and roll band. It was heavy rock, but we did that, and we've been through a lot. And the Boneless Ones was a fun little genre for us in the skate punk,
Yeah.
you know, realm. But
Yeah.
that was first time I saw him play outside of Attitude Adjustment was with the Boneless Ones.
And so, yeah, the Boneless Ones run was super fucking crazy.
That's cool.
And fun, and I'm glad we got to do that album as well, not just play
We got to play
shows.
Dynamo. They flew us out to play Dynamo.
Oh,
Played
shit.
a couple shows
Yeah.
in Europe. You know, but then the Forbidden thing just bloomed way too big. It was like,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to fucking really commit to this now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, we've had some really cool situations, even with like Spiral Arms, you know, that was like,
Yeah.
I'm coming in for Kretz and Horse again, Steve from
Right.
Forbidden, you know.
Yeah,
and
so
it was
there's all these links that
Tim
led up to this.
Narducci,
It was-
you know, was
yeah.
in Systematic, you know, first band Lars signed ever. And
But yeah, the Spiral Arms thing, I'm not sure if you're even aware of it. I don't even know if you know what I did with the Man-Made God thing and like we're working with Rick Rubin and all that stuff. You're aware of
I'm
that?
aware of it. I was gonna go there, but I was gonna let you guys.
Yeah,
Sure.
because that's how Spiral Arms came to be. We got Eric Kretz from STP to play with us for a bit, and then once he bailed back to go to STP, that's where we came together and played music for the first fucking time. So that's kind of why I'm condensing it all to.
Yeah.
We actually knew each other for years
Yeah,
and
yeah.
never played
We were
music together.
circling around each other.
And then, but there's Sangre Eterna,
yeah, short. I had like
his
a.
metal band. pulled me
Before
back.
Mallcore was Mallcore, I was in a band called Sangre Eterna, and it was a little ahead of its time because we were doing some of that tech metal kind of thing.
Like breakdowns and stuff.
Yeah, like breakdowns and you know, cool guitar, like the riffs were very, you know, like kind of what becomes Kill Switch, what kind of becomes, you know, that vibe,
Yeah.
whatever. And I pulled him into that for a minute too. So we've played a
okay.
bunch together,
Yeah.
but like Spiral Arms was a deep dive musically, you know, somebody's got to open for STP kind of band.
Over the
And
years.
if you haven't heard the Man-Made God album, it's one of my all-time favorite albums. It really is. It's
we're gonna
that
have to
fucking
crank
good. I have
that
to,
up.
like, I can't really look him in the eyes when I talk about that band because I fucking am fanboy kind of with that band. It's a fucking great album. Really fucking great fucking album.
What happened there was after Forbidden. I mean, I don't know what did it for you. Like when you had a moment where the light just switches, where you're like, I hear something that makes me want to chase, trying to be different.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the Bands by Radiohead. And I didn't want to sound like Radiohead. I just thought this is adventurous. I tried to drop the whole Forbidden thing completely. And I said, I'm just going to go. And I didn't want to be with any of the guys anymore, loved them. But I was like, I don't want to play with you anymore because I need to find my voice. Russ was like, no problem. Yeah, I'm going to go do my own thing. But Tim was super pissed. And then he went and joined Evermore, which was the best move for him. And I thought that was the perfect band for him.
Like, were you already writing things that were indicating the direction you were shifting in?
I was, yeah. What Man-Made God turned into wasn't what it started as. it was the most experimental, some of the heaviest riffs I've ever written in my entire life. It was definitely outside the box and very beautiful.
E standard?
No.
You went down on that one.
I was like drop A. What was great about drop A is that I could move my song into E, right on the same guitar, right? Because I was in drop A, so I just jumped to the A string and I was in E. And we had a singer, heroin addict, who I thought I could help and change, which is, don't ever do that, kids. Heroin addicts, they'll do it on their own. But he was a great artist, and he taught me how to be a great artist. And I remember one day I was hung up on a riff that I loved, and he's like, I'm like, dude, it's fucking great. He's all, you know what, Craig? There's a million great riffs after that one. And I go, oh yeah. So from then on, I don't get hung up on riffs. So anyway, long story short, he goes. And we were looking for singers, and this ad in BAM magazine that my friend Gary Metrovich had sent me, a singer saying, looking for band with a diversity of Zeppelin and power of Tool. And I was like, that's us, we could be that band. So I call him and we get him in, and as soon as he starts singing, it's like Paul Rogers.
Wow.
So it became something great, and Rick Rubin signed us. Musically, I was fucking loving life because I had found my own. I was writing real songs that I was one of the only ones to ever make it out of thrash metal.
Yeah.
And all the other bands around here started trying to follow our lead, and they like some bands got really daring in that time, and it was a cool time. But it didn't work out for any of us. All of us, it was just the Bay Area is not anywhere anyone looks for a real rock band.
Machine Head got kind of, when they made that album, when they made that transition. Yeah, they got pelted. Everyone hated them for that.
Oh,
it took them years.
The Burning Red?
The Burning Red, that's one. They had rapping in it for 2 years.
We never did rap. Like I said, Manmade God was more like Bad Company. It was, or Zeppelin or stuff like that. So it was just a different vibe.
It's the journey, man. It's so interesting how you kind of do these, you go this way and then suddenly you're back kind of returning to, and it's like, wow, I didn't expect.
Well, that brought me in with Chris again. And, the thing is that we were going good, and then the label tried to make us go in and hurry up and record another record. And I got adversely affected by that, and some other things happened, and I just was like, we owe about $1 million right now. I'm not feeling paying that back. So I acted very quickly like, that's it. I'm folding up the tent. And then Rick said, okay, if you and Pan, our singer, ever want to get back together again, you guys can, but I need you both together. I don't care about those other two guys. But I didn't like that answer. I was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up.
And in that, we what happened is you can't run from your legacy. In the end, your legacy is your fucking legacy. And what happened was Forbidden got offers at that point to get back together.
2008, 2007, 2008, we started getting offers.
And I remember it was crystalline, because I just know that to be true. Is when he picked me up for rehearsal, and he's like, hey, I'm going to get Forbidden back together. I mean, it was an absolute fucking nuclear bomb in my mind. Was like, two things. There goes Spiral Arms, and this is what you're built for. That's your baby. That's your legacy. That's your thing. And he was like, oh, it's going to be 6 shows. Maybe we go to Japan, and that's it.
I wasn't thinking that at all. Right. I was like, I'm pushing Spiral Arms.
You moved on.
I went out to Europe and pushed the fucking Spiral Arms, and everyone was looking at me like, yeah, whatever.
Because we went out and played Grasspot in 2007, right?
Okay.
And I think everybody that came to see us came to see Machine Head and Forbidden. And they got Spiral Arms. And it was a lot of question marks in the audience going, what is this?
Understandably so.
Yeah, what is this? No.
They're talking about the first reformation in Forbidden context to the people.
Yeah. So as that Omega Wave thing happened, I was like, I know it's going to be multiple tours. You're going to get festival offers. It's just, I knew the ramp was going to go for them.
Right.
And it did fracture and destroy Spiral Arms for that moment, right? And then the whole thing happens for them, and they get back together. They do their thing. But in that, it just wasn't. The chemistry somehow for Forbidden wasn't right.
Yeah.
Russ bless him, wasn't right.
Right, things weren't gelling in the way that
he had severe alcohol.
The vibe
at that
between
point,
Craig and Glenn wasn't the old shoulders just rocking back to back. That thing wasn't there, and so.
Oh wait, that was never there with us.
No, but there was moments of connectivity.
No, we fucking did
that you
shit,
guys,
yeah.
I mean, it's so tricky. Like people, I always say this. It's like to find musicians you really have chemistry with, and to make music, and to go and make I mean, there's so many factors that have to. So much nuance there that it's very rare when it all
even
comes.
Getting Forbidden back together,
Yeah,
we
that's
went
what I'm
through.
saying.
We
So you were sensitive
Steve.
to all that, just trying to find. It's like, where is this? What is this?
And I resisted it. Then I tried to resist it the first time. And we got back together in 2007 because so many festival offers were coming across. I was like, And then I saw that movie Get Thrashed at the screening here in San Francisco, and we were supposed to be in that movie, and our film got zapped in the X-ray machine. But there were lots of cuts of the band and stuff and everything. But I was sitting next to Zetro, Steve Souza, and he's like pounding my leg. He's all, see Craigie, you got to do it. You got to go back. I'm like, I've always been the guy to resist doing things unless it's for the right reasons. I've never wanted to do things for the wrong reasons. And then, then eventually I was like, well, these offers is just too many. There are too many coming at us too fast. We were getting offers for, Grass Pop, Hellfest, Sweden Rock. It just, you name it. They were all offering us stuff. And we almost had the original, not the original lineup, but the Twisted and Form lineup with Tim Calvert. But Tim was way too involved in being a pilot to do it. And he's like, he's got a big job. And then we had Paul, and then, Paul got the offer from Testament. Gene Hoglan sitting in for the first shows, Glenn Alvarez on guitar, which didn't work out the first time. I was like, hopefully it'll work out this time.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out the second time, and Gene was only there for a short amount of time, so it's just always like something, Then Steve Smythe came in, who was amazing and great and super cool, and just went through major health problems, and, it was working until it didn't.
Yeah. At the time, you guys were signed Nuclear Blast, right?
We were.
And did you have a multi-album deal, or
we did?
Oh, so how that happened? You only released one.
Well, we only released one because we broke up, and what was cool is when this was all coming, our contract was a 10-year contract to get out of that licensing deal. So basically, this last year, we got out of that deal.
Oh, a 10-year. Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
A 10-year deal, and
So all the timing and everything aligned.
There's nothing, no knock on Nuclear Blast. Forbidden and a band like us doesn't really have a place in a label like that anymore.
I'm real close with Monty Connor and love the guy and everything, but he said something to me that was really poignant, which was, we don't sign bands anymore, we set trends. And when he said that to me, I really realized, like, right, it's almost like Vince McMahon saying, we don't do wrestling, we make movies. Right? It's like a different mindset. And as that permeated through the Roadrunners of the world, the Nuclear Blasts of the world, the Century Medias of the world, you almost had this feeling of who's the next guard.
Right.
What's the next, defender of the faith that's going to step forward as a record label and really understand the continuity and the that complexion of still needing to do what is needing to be done with bands that are still legacy bands. Like, I hate to use that terminology, but the legacy band thing is real, right?
Yeah.
And thankfully, there's 14 and 17-year-old fucking kids in battle vests and fucking
a whole new crowd.
Throwing that flag back up.
I mean, it holds up. The music doesn't have I always say that it's like if you make that kind of music, it's not related to a era. It's music that survives. So it's kind of timeless in that sense.
Well, thrash metal is probably, and I guess some black metal and death metal are probably the three genres in metal that will I think they're going to keep going on one way or another.
The most refusingest to die.
I know. It's insane, dude.
It's been proven now because we're on year 40-something, right? So now it's kind of been proven where other things fall in and out of style. For some reason, kids, and this goes back to the same thing I was talking about the record, the approach leaving the hair on it, keeping it edgy, like, you know, don't make it perfect.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Tuning to E.
Yeah, come back. Yeah, tuning to E.
The sound
I
your
like
mother
that.
hated.
Come back in 2 years and we'll talk about this and see how people are reacting to this album versus some of the stuff in the middle years for a lot of bands.
That's true. It's hard to know, but yeah.
In talking about all this, I'm just sitting here just like, it's just dawning on me and how much to be a survivor at this point, you have to literally put your blinders up and not succumb to all these fucking negative forces of mediocrity and, you know, well, that you can't do this anymore. You can't do that anymore. That's not how it works. You kind of got to just dig in and go, no, this is how we're doing it. You got to just go like this. I don't care if it's not supposed to be that way or it's not cool to do it like this.
Man. And it takes a lot of discipline to put the blinders on because there's so much distraction right now. You're so pulled.
So much distraction.
You got to really just like, fuck this shit. Fucking, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we legacy band. So this has been a thing. You know, you're your legacy band, and now with this album, and it's too bad for the people that are watching this interview or listening or whatever you're doing, that you don't get to hear for a few more months. But since this album's been done, the word we keep getting is all, you're not a fucking legacy band anymore. You know, and that's not proven until everyone gets to hear it. Like, you know, in other words, it's carving its own new little path.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll see about that. Like, you just, you know, there's no way to prove that until but that's how people are starting to react to it, and that's promising because that means that there's some sort of possibility that a little sunlight and water can grow a new thing. You know, for us, like a different, because now this is more of a heavy metal album than a thrash metal album.
Yeah,
it's
people struggle to call it a thrash album, but there's thrash like
and you've always evolved. You've always been pushing in some direction with different, you know, sounds, and so it's like it's not legacy in that sense, just because it's your trajectories can't be put in a box. You know, there's no like
the unspoken truth. You know, like of how hierarchy works versus how the real business works versus what people's perceptions, right? So you're in the Bay Area now. You know, there are a great portion of people that look at it like this. You got your Metallica, you got your Testament, you got your Exodus, you got your Death Angel.
The big 8.
Then you got, you know, then I guess Forbidden would be there, and Vio-lence and Heathen, and, you know, they can start going, and you can never get above this because you're looked at in this way.
Right, the hierarchy or something.
The hierarchy, so if we were writing just a regular old thrash record or trying to, you know, rekindle just the past, there'd be zero chance for us to make a linear move, let alone one upwards. You're just stuck. You're like on this rung of the ladder. So, you know, that could very well still be true, but there's just some sort of hopeful feeling that, you know, because the growth we've taken and the songs we're writing and the openness of the whole thing and the sincerity of it.
But how involved was Dan Mongrain in the whole thing?
Dan, you want to take this? You haven't talked in a minute. Go ahead.
No. For me, it was awesome because I'm a massive Voivod fan, like huge.
Yeah.
And
he did a couple. He
started
did the Wacken show with you guys.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Yeah.
Before he takes it over, Dan started as a great friend of mine and fan of the band, but we became really good friends since the first time Forbidden played with him in Japan. The first time I met him was there, and he comes into our room, which is upstairs at the Kawasaki Theater or whatever it was. And he's got a guitar and he says, "Hey, Craig, my name is Daniel. I play in Voivod." I'm like, "Oh, you're the guy." Like in my head, I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "I want to show you something." And he played Infinite, and he played it perfectly with the harmonies as the chords all the way up and down the neck, with the picking and everything. And I just like look over at our other guitar player at the time, and I was like, "Yeah,
you think your job?"
That's how you play it. In my head, I'm like, "Fuck, dude, you're the only guy that's ever played a Forbidden song right for me." Then fast forward to this.
Well, just, you know, needing a guitar player, you know, the Steve thing just was not like we were talking about earlier, like the chemistry has to be perfect. It has to be all things considered, and everything he was going through, everything we were going through.
Yeah, Steve was going through a physical.
Yeah, just going through a lot. Just, you know, without getting too into the minutia of his life.
Heartbreaking. Fucking heartbreaking.
You know, loss and health and just all things. And then what we were bringing, our energy was, you know, Craig and I have a tendency to suck the air out of the room.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose, but we go at it in a way where we have a dialogue that people
charge, man.
back off of a little bit sometimes, and we're aware of it, but sometimes we're unaware of it while it's happening, and then we see the shrapnel that went everywhere, you know? So, looking for a guitar player, he just brought up Dan, and I was like, well, fuck, and, you know, he's in 5 bands.
Right.
You know, he's in Quebec. You know, this administration doesn't cater too well to all of the freedoms you might be able to leapfrog with that, you know. And so it was great having him in the band, but at the same time, there wasn't a lot of writing going on, you know. He wasn't adding to the songs, he wasn't adding to the writing structure, you know. He was, you know, but no, it came after we had the nuts and bolts. Then he brought themes, he brought flavors, he did the incredible solos,
incredible themes and flavors.
Yeah, and it really, you know.
He's on 3 songs on the record.
You know, I had my one friend, as soon as he heard Divided by Zero, he's like, oh wow, Forbidden. Like, this is a thing. It was great playing with him, dude. I mean, it was so cool. And him correcting us, and then there were things that I wasn't getting, like, because we count differently. You know, he might call an 8, I'm definitely seeing as 4, or just this pattern. Like, what is that? No, that's actually, you're starting, that makes it 6, bro. It's not 5. You're really,
I know you can count it so many different ways.
Right? And
we're basically both musically illiterate.
I don't know what happened. I blacked out.
Yeah, but it's okay. It works.
Dan was like, Chris, listen, right? I'm like, oh. So he was like fixing me as he was like coming in, and even was, are you sure it goes this way? You know, to Craig, and Craig's like, there was like one moment where you're like, oh yeah, we did kind of change that during that lineup of the band. We started playing it that way, and he's like, oh, okay, because I learned that this really goes this way and stuff. He's just so technical, and he's a savant, man.
Yes, he is. So let's get to how it. So I had what he did do, getting out of the studio and working on songs, the set and whatnot. He never got to work with us on a song on this record in the room.
Right.
He did. I'd send him whatever we were recording, and then we'd go on the phone, and I'd show him how I'm playing
iPhone videos.
Yeah, phone videos and stuff, which actually helped more than, you know, some other ways you could. But his ear is so good, it doesn't matter. So, you know, he just would add to what was being written. Divided by Zero, Mutually Assured, Dysfunction, and the second song that was actually being written was Flower of Life, which turned out to be this opus that it is. And you'd think he would have added to the orchestration, but he didn't have time. So he's like, I don't have time right now. So we did all that. You know, it ran its course after the last tour, not for any other reason besides logistics. Like, he wanted to finish the record with us. He's on those 3 songs on the record. We kept those. We just remixed them for the record. But Dan's getting credit for those songs. And anybody who helps on a song at all is always going to get writing credit from me.
Oh, yeah.
And even part. Like, always. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he wrote a riff. He wrote to the riff. He wrote his own great parts. And his solo in Flower of Life alone is so fucking phenomenal. And I challenged him, as a producer would. I said, he sent me one version of it, and I was like, yeah, that's really cool, but I don't know, man. I just feel like it's not really opening up like the lotus flower that it needs to open up like. He's like, what is that? He's like, you know, man, I spend a lot of time on this, you know, I only have so many hours in the day. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, just try again. And then fucking 2 hours later, I get this text like, here's your fucking flower.
Wow.
And then I opened it up. I'm like, geez, I said it to him, and we're like, holy shit. I'm like, he's all, yeah, thanks for pushing me, man. You know, like, even a guy like him needs to be pushed a little bit. Like, there's a few things in our team that are just so unattainable. Like, you don't even think you could have that. Like, I told him the other day, I'm not used to having people have their shit together and helping out to this level. I'm not used to it. I'm sorry. I should be. Yeah. But I'm not.
Well, man, you hear it's about time, right? It's about time.
If not now, when?
I know.
Now, when. That has been a slogan for a while.
Dude, that conversation about Ruthie's Inn and I've been pulling up the flyers, and I just wanted to show you some of these handwritten flyers that they had going on back in the day.
Oh, cool.
This Exodus, Slayer, Blizzard, and Possessed for $5. Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the old hand. We used to make those.
Yeah, Megadeth, Exodus, and Legacy. And Legacy is actually a Testament before they became Testament. Exodus, Vicious Rumors. You know what's kind of funny is these bands, some of these bands just kind of break up and go away, but they're coming back. Like Vicious Rumors, I know they're back around.
I like the old Exodus logo. It's cool.
Death Angel, Blind Illusion.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
what's his name's around?
Yeah, we bumped into the Blind Illusion guys. So that's what I was saying, that bands kind of break up and they come back around. Blind Illusion, they used to have Les Claypool as their bass player.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Wow.
Attitude Adjustment, that's Chris Kontos.
Oh, cool.
They're selling they have merch prices on here. They have demos for $4. They'll send you overseas by airmail for $5. Yeah, that's cool. T-shirts, $7. Ruthie's, Sacrilege, Dad.
Wow.
Yeah. Sacrilege eventually turned to Sacrilege BC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to show you some of these posters. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bay Area history. All right, so we're going to continue our talk with Rob Barrett now. This is part 2. After part 1 was done, we actually had to cut that short, and we went to see a show. Do you remember where we went that day?
Was it the Melvins show?
Yeah, the Melvins and Napalm Death. And that's where you actually met
Craig for the first time, technically.
Technically, yeah.
We're probably in the same room many times prior to that, but...
Yeah, I know exactly who you are.
50 cents for a hot dog, 50 cents for a
I don't have any cash. You already asked me. I have no cash. I carry no cash with me tonight.
Yeah, so that's how everything gets intertwined in that way.
Yeah, it becomes very small and intimate, especially up here in the Bay.
Yeah. All right, here is the next day with Rob Barrett. Enjoy.
Yeah, you still have
That's
most
a
of it.
good smoothie.
It is a good smoothie.
Oh, I got a good story. I kicked out 2 of our fans at a show when you guys were playing because they were talking shit.
About us?
Mm-hmm. And I was watching behind them.
So you were in the audience?
Yeah, they were like saying some stupid shit. And I walked over to the security guy and I was like, those 2 gotta go. They paid for their ticket.
Yeah.
They could leave.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. Dude, those were most of the shows.
They were
hard.
wearing Cannibal shirts, and I'm like, sorry, man. These are my friends.
You guys had those kinds of fans. Some of them that were just like, it was just all or nothing. Like, who are these guys wearing colorful clothes, fucking trying to play this weird shit with a chick growling and playing keyboards?
Yeah, and then the way we were thinking was like, all right, so you just want us to get some other death metal band to play instead? The same shit?
Right.
You know? We always want something different.
Right. Yeah, mix up the bill. I know. Yeah, it's funny, like even recent tours for us, because they're always trying to put like tech, more of that kind of sound or more technical bands. And I was like, there's enough notes in Cynic set. Like, let's get some like doom and some other vibe and mix it up. Like, we don't need this audience will get enough from that band, just to kind of create a real experience with variety and an event.
And I think that was perfect because you got Sinister, a Dutch death metal band, and then Cynic and then Cannibal Corpse.
Right.
It gives the crowd a minute to like relax and watch some good music.
Yeah.
Before the violence starts.
I mean, I'll tell you, man. Yeah, those shows, it was because, you know, you weren't really slamming or dancing. Like, there's none of that for Cynic stuff. And it was like.
Nah, well, people were paying attention.
People were paying attention.
What you want.
Right. But I feel like, you know,
nobody was holding up their cell phone and all that shit.
But it was really like a handful of shows where that happened, where people got it. And, you know, Berkeley, New York, the last show at the Limelight was really good. But a lot of like most of the shows, it was like, get off the stage.
Yeah, I would kick those dudes out.
That's cool. Like,
and I'd say sorry, but they're my friends, you know?
Yeah.
I won't let them do that.
Yeah, you saw. I mean, that's partly what happened, man. Like we did the tour, and we had a great time with you guys. But it was almost like, wow, no one likes us out there, man.
Well,
you know,
musically we were polar opposites.
Yeah,
but we were best friends.
I know.
The music shouldn't make separation.
That's true. No, it's that back then the scene was very polarized because there wasn't bands like us. It was like all extreme.
And a prime example of that is hardcore and metalheads.
Right.
They did not get along.
I know.
In the 80s.
I remember going to a show in Miami Beach at the Cameo, Destruction and the Cro-Mags. And it was some promoter put that tour together, and it was like skinheads and like metalheads, Destruction, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, then you could feel the tension. And there was always this like, a lot of fights. The skinheads were like not into the long hairs. It was a whole dynamic that was, I don't think you get that anymore, really, right? Because you guys get some punks at your shows and stuff, right?
They love it.
They love that shit.
Like, man, that shit sounds violent.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Let people release their energy.
Yeah, ventilate.
Like Exodus said, happy, violent fun.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it really is like an outlet for, like...
Yeah, let out all this energy in a positive way.
Yeah, rather than going and hurting somebody or, like, doing some harm to yourself. It's true. It's like a way to kind of ventilate rage.
Yeah, and then they feel better.
They feel better. Yeah, you got to put it somewhere. Some people... stuff some food down their throat. Some people drink their way through it. Some people are mean to their partner through it. But if you can find a creative outlet, it's kind of a very constructive path.
Yeah, it's a harmless way to release that energy.
Yeah.
I think, well, we probably would have ended up being troublemakers.
We were. We already were. I know. I have these memories.
I didn't want to get into detail, but
I mean, I remember those underage years, like us, you know, going into 7-Elevens and stealing beers. Like we would literally run out with fucking cases and shit. And
you might as well tell them how you met Mark Van Erp.
Oh my God! I mean, Mark. I mean, we met in a school for fucking
juvenile
troubled kids. Yeah, in upstate New York, but Mark, but I remember when he came to Miami with Jack, we were a little naive. Like we thought we were city kind of kids on the inside, but I was like, Mark's on another level. That fucking
he's hood.
He was fucking real hood.
Yeah.
And I remember like, what was it? Like one day we got there and they had all these like shoes and shit like in the warehouse.
They were hustling.
And they were like stealing shit from places and selling things. Like it was like they had a whole side business going, and it was all like gangster moves. I know.
Cats gotta eat.
I mean, it was like a whole. I think we both got kicked out of that school too. Like
really?
We both. I think I was before him.
How do you get kicked out of a school that they send you when you get kicked out?
Exactly. It's another level. I know.
That's pretty honorable.
I know.
Well, you know how to fight the system.
You know what it was? It was like, I remember what happened in that instance because I had already gotten in trouble because I was like smoking weed with other people and we got caught at some point and you couldn't do that.
I thought you...
It was a bunch of nonsense, but you know. But I remember when I was in that school because I saw Van Erp in music class and he was like we had some kind of class with some teacher, and I saw Van Earp playing bass, and he was playing like Maiden or some like stuff.
With those big ass hands.
I know.
Oh my God.
But he could play his ass off.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, you got hands like canned hams.
Yeah,
they're
big. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him grab people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he'll throw somebody around.
Yeah.
Like a rag doll.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah, but we I know I remember when I brought him to Miami, like I brought him to my house, I was living with my mom, and my mom's like, I don't trust him, Pablito. I don't.
Oh, really?
And I was like, Mom, he's okay.
You gotta
She's like,
trust your mom's instinct.
My mom was like, like, she just thought he could, steal. But I was like, no, he's fine with us. No, you know what he was? He was like, damn, your mom's hot. I'm down for your mom. Yeah, I was like, and I didn't even see her that way. But all my friends were like, your mom's so hot.
Say that, though.
I know.
That's not right.
But it was just, she was hot. She was single, and she was in that like phase of. And she was a hot Cuban woman, man. Yeah.
And he's acting like some dude that just got out of prison.
He did. He had. But you know what? He moved to Miami, and him and Jack, we get into this warehouse and we're jamming. And that's the beginning of Cynic, It was like we had other bands before then, but that was really the roots of the band. And I didn't want to sing. So he's like, my buddy Jack can sing,
Crazy fucking freak. Weak Grizzly. Hey, I love you, Jack.
That's awesome.
Nah, Jack's killer.
I love Jack.
But yeah. He was a character.
It was funny, man. He just did it because it was like, yeah, just do this, back then.
Yeah, he was Crony's wingman,
I know.
And he was like, yeah, I'll sing.
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, I know. That's funny, man.
Yeah, I wish I would have been around for those times.
Yeah, that was like
I showed up right after that.
Right after. Yeah, because that was
when
like
I met
88.
you, it was just you, Jason, Sean, and Tony.
Yeah, right. Right, because you were 91. Right.
Well, I moved
we met
to
in
Miami.
we met in 88, 89.
89.
Yeah.
Or 88.
Yeah.
I think we covered that in the first
tour.
episode.
Yeah. In Buffalo, you were living there, and then you came to Miami. Yeah, it was the whole thing. But
yeah, and seeing you guys played put me over the edge. I was like, I'm moving to Florida.
Yeah.
But we did the tour.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, after that, like I hadn't talked to you for a while because you moved out here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't even know when's the next time I ran into you.
After that tour. Yeah, it was kind of like years.
It's a long time ago, Paul.
Well, we broke up. I mean, we all scattered.
What year did you?
Really, I mean, we started doing the Portal, working on the Portal in 94, 95.
Oh, so after that tour?
That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was the only tour you ever did?
U.S.
Or wait, you did the Dynamo, right?
With Dynamo, and then we did this little run with Pestilence and stuff where they broke up in the middle of that tour, and that was the whole thing. And
was it a full European tour, or did you just do the Dynamo?
No, we did Dynamo as a one-off, and then a full European tour.
Right.
Yeah.
With Pestilence.
Yeah, but they kind of broke up in the middle of it. That was the whole thing. And I know bands, they go through it, but yeah, we went our separate ways. We just split. So, like, yeah, you kind of were pretty much leading up. It was like the demos through the demo era, and then Focus, and then it was like the tour, and then bam. So it's like the whole history of the band up until Focus, really, like, which was a good 7 years or something, because you came after Van Earp. You came, what year was it you moved to Miami?
90. Summer 90.
Right. Wow. Yeah, so we had just
you already
recorded
had
two demos. Yeah. We did the 91 with Burns, and which you were already around then, but I'm trying to think what we did before that. No, that was it. Because there was the 90.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like peak thrash.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were heavy.
Yeah.
And then you mellowed out on us. What happened?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I love Focus though. Like when I listen to it, it reminds me of the tour.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very like there was no reference point, you know? Like that's what I'm thinking, like no one was doing it. Was just so like its own thing that people weren't really getting it. It was like all the scene, the metal scene, extreme metal was just like
They
all or
didn't know
nothing.
how to accept it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a few bands that were experimental back then, I remember, but yeah, just, none of them.
Everybody was playing it safe, like staying within those guidelines.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, well, fuck that.
Yeah. I think we just burnt out, man. We were like, it was like 7-8 years of just like tunnel vision. And then we get to, we finally like get a deal. Things start moving because we did the death thing. Everyone did their little side projects. Tony did Atheist.
And Pestilence.
And
Jason did Monstrosity.
Yep. And although we've got Malone in the studio, that was even more of a, like the way he approached the bass, it was like that took everything into a different realm too, because Malone was not a metal guy at all. He was like a fusion, classical jazz guy, but had some sense of rock music, but the way he played was like a Jocko style. And the way he interpreted Reinert's stuff, it was like, wow, this is what it was like, this is what we've been looking for. This is the sound we've been. Suddenly, Reinert's grooves went into this deeper space. It was like, wow, that's the groove,
Yeah, they were locking in.
They were locking in deep.
The rhythm section.
I mean, from hell. I mean, it's like it was like beyond.
Sean was a professor, wasn't he? Or a teacher.
College, theory professor.
Yeah, theory professor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really quiet.
Very introverted.
On that tour, I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Sean?" And he'd be like, "Oh, nothing." Like he wouldn't talk much.
Yeah, proper introverted. Like we all were, but he was on another level. Like really subdued. Yeah. Mm-hmm. As to where Reiner was the opposite, right? Reiner's just like,
oh yeah, he loved talking.
Yeah,
like whenever he'd come in the room, he'd be like, "Oh, what's up, Rob?" Like he just liked to talk shit.
He wanted to hang.
Yeah.
But you lived in the warehouse before him, right? You guys never lived together.
No, you had yours across the way from our warehouse.
Okay.
And then I would just walk over there after practice. Or even when we weren't practicing that day, and I knew you guys were over there, I'd just come over and hang out.
That's right. Those were so cheap, too.
Yeah, sometimes, like, you would get there in the daytime before it was dark and just like hang out and burn and play video games. And
I mean, it was our little living room.
When it got dark, you'd be like, all right, let's jam. And then you would start practicing.
Yeah, it
was like an all day thing.
I know. And we were really committed to like rehearsals for fucking 3-4 hours a day.
All day.
Like practicing constantly.
Yeah, like you would do the set or work on a song and then take a break for a while, get some lunch.
I know. Very
convenient.
It was like a fucking way of life.
Yeah, like sometimes I'd knock on the door and then I'd come in and you guys are like sitting at the table planning shit out. All right, here's what we should do during this part. Like you're mapping out songs and shit.
Yeah. But like I'm curious with like, because you were from the thrash, really hardcore transition of Cynic, like kind of this crossover band that had these hardcore thrashy roots, and then we got more death metal by 91. And that was really because of being in the death metal scene, playing with Human and all the bands. And then we kind of were like, oh, now we're going to bring in all our other stuff. What happened was Andrew hit. And when Andrew hit, we were supposed to make our record right before that, and everything got put on hold. Warehouse was gone. Goebel lost his home.
Ours was too.
Yeah, and everything just got pushed back a year. And I remember that year was the year of where everything shifted, and it was like all this shit that we had been listening to kind of got in our bones, and we started to like shift. The music was, it was like our playing just went to another level. It was like we could just, because we were all locked in our houses and there was no internet or anything then. So you're just, there's no distraction. You're just like you and your instrument and maybe some books, you know? And so it was just practicing. We practiced like maniacs, and it was like all those songs just like blossomed, you know? But it was like, I remember we get in the studio and Burns hadn't even heard the vocoder, and he was like, has Monty heard this? And we're like, no.
Oh, the vocals with the...
Yeah, and he's like...
What, was he concerned?
He was concerned.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, where'd you guys go? What happened? It was like we went
forward.
We went forward.
You progressed.
Yeah, no, it was a rough moment because he was worried that the label was going to be like, what the fuck just happened?
They were expecting the demo.
A tech death kind of thing, yeah. And we just had completely went in another direction. Yeah, it was really one of those things where even Scott was like, had moments where he was very like challenged by what we were doing. Like there's a moment.
Didn't know if it was worth doing.
Well, no, where he was like, I remember there was like a moment where we were cutting some song, because there's, you know, we videotaped all that stuff. We have all this footage of the making of the album. And there was a moment where we're like cutting a song and there's some contrapuntal thing, and Scott's like, you can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And he was like, and we had this whole like thing about it. And at one point he storms out of the studio, was like mad at us. And it was, I mean, it's some juicy stuff in there, because it was like, we were going against the old guard. But then it wasn't until years later that Scott realized, he was like, oh, wait, these guys knew what they were doing. And Reiner was a motherfucker that was like a beast. I mean, he knew that from Human, but like it was with Cynic, it was a whole other thing, you know, because he was completely just doing everything he wanted, right?
Yeah, it had a steady pulse, but it didn't sound steady because he was doing like polyrhythms. He was like
subdividing, yeah.
Yeah, but I always thought he always had a flow.
His like, groove was deep.
Yeah, it didn't sound like a computer.
No. No, Sean was a real natural, deep pocket. And when you asked him if he wanted something simplified, he could do it at the drop of a hat. It was just, he was such a kind of piano player drummer that he was hearing things. So he was like, I'm hearing this thing with the hi-hat and this with the fucking, I want to keep this ride pattern going and then do this with the kick. It was like, his brain was just creating music.
He had a piano in his house.
Oh, yeah. He was a piano player before he played drums.
He took me over there a few times and he had a piano.
Oh, yeah. Sean could play. Yeah.
And keyboards.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like when he got the, I remember the Octopads, or not the Octopads, the...
oh, yeah, the thing.
Yeah, the drum cat.
The cat.
And that was like, you know, that was him being a percussive drummer. It was like...
Yeah, and that's how he would start the intros.
Yeah, and also he would play the How Could I thing. Mm-hmm. It was all like a live drum thing, you know?
Yeah, because in between songs, I would see him hit one of them, and then it would be the intro.
Yeah.
And then you have a minute to get some water.
Right. Yeah, we would like upload some trippy samples. And
oh, yeah. You used to have that movie projector thing. Remember, you would put the projector
with the Venosa projections and stuff. Yeah. It was a slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
It was a slideshow.
Hey, you had to start somewhere.
I know.
Right? You know, now look at all the shit. They got like real big screens and shit.
Yeah, the LEDs and
technology.
Yeah, it's kind of
over. Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
I'm a Terminator.
No, it's funny, like, until we're, like, really cyborg species, it's like, you know, we're still connecting to organic. We still want to, like, you know, I was thinking about that in the early days of even Instagram. They were saying, like, the younger generation was spotting all these photos being modified and filters, and they were, like, not into it. Like, they were wanting the real. They didn't want all that stuff because it's like everything was getting so artificial, but it just keeps going so deep in that direction that I feel like kids now, they're just, that's what they're born with. Like, that's all they know is just everything's manipulated, you know? So it's a wild
world. Welcome to the Matrix.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's Craig.
But, you know, yeah, so suddenly you turn that corner and you want to fucking, like, you're trying to, like, step it up, and then you get some chops, and now we're, like, in a different, it's like a different caliber. It's like, oh, we're not just fucking pissed off kids. Now we actually know what we're doing, and we're gonna make this riff fucking cool and fucking. And it was like a whole thing where it got more refined and sophisticated because our ears and our playing and
I think you were probably just tuning in on your instruments instead of like trying to exude like what's going on outside of the music.
Right.
You started getting spiritual.
Yeah, we're getting real intimate with the relation with it.
Yeah, like your lyrics used to be angry young guy.
Yeah, like
lyrics,
political stuff.
And then you started opening into like the whole spectrum of like spiritual stuff.
Yeah, I mean that was already happening by Human and shit. I remember.
Yeah, you tried to get me to meditate with you once, like near the pool. And you were like, just close your eyes and, think about whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking at you like, this ain't working, man. But I tried.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not that deep.
Oh, yes, you are. But, you meet it in a different way, It's like.
I never got into the whole spiritual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's practical to me. It's more just like working with your mind. You're meditating just to work with your mind. You're just getting to know what it's like. Mm-hmm. Just like what's
because we only use a certain percentage of our brain, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying to tap into the rest.
It's like you do activate other regions when you meditate. And the thing is, you want to sit. It's like you're sitting in absolute boredom. So you have no distraction, right? And then you start to realize how crazy your mind is. It's like, wow, this thing's like a wild horse. It's fucking running around. That thought is going. And you start to really go, oh, I see what you're doing.
And that's why you named the record Focus.
Yeah.
Focus on what you want and...
Yeah, stay and like it was all...
don't get distracted by the outside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably even why the artwork resonated, why we got in, like we saw it. It was like, and we were also doing a lot of psychedelics back then, man. I don't know if you were ever part of that thing, but I was selling acid in high school and then fucking, I mean, we were just.
We have a similar childhood.
I know.
I used to sell acid and weed.
You did?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. Tara has some stories where she was like, she was like these moments where we'd be hanging at the warehouse and I'd hand people tabs of acid. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, well, you were tripping all the time. And I was like, wow. Like, I mean, that's a young age, but you get to know, things open up when you're using substances like that. You see things differently. And we had some rehearsals where we were working on the music and it was like, it opened things up. It was like, ooh, you're hearing things.
I could write a whole record if I was tripping.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, It definitely influenced the sound, like, and you hear it. It's like you can notice when you hear that kind of music. It's like this is not regular. This is there's some other influence there. They access some other states, that only those kinds of chemicals are sitting with yourself. It's like shit opens up. But
yeah, how about peyote? Did you ever try that?
I did. Oh, I know I did mescaline. I never did peyote, but
yeah, I never. Yeah. That far into it.
Yeah.